I so appreciate it, and I told Roger before we began that I know his intuition is always very high, and he chooses exactly the right songs to go with the topic for today. And so we have ministry that speaks to us from music, from artwork, in the graphic forms, and spiritual traditions through the years. In the Buddhist teachings, they often have teaching stories. And the teaching stories often get us smiling and nodding. And when we're smiling and nodding or laughing, then there's that little openness in our heart, so we get the meaning below it. And so for the next few Sundays, I'm going to be speaking from some spiritual teachings that you may not have considered as spiritual teachings before, because we speak about using the Bibles of the world, the Judeo-Christian Bible, and Hindu teachings, and the Buddhist teachings, and Jainism, and all of them. And this next few Sundays, we're going to be teaching from the teachings of Dr. Seuss. He has a lot to say. When I first came into Science of Mind and this teaching, and I went, oh, and somebody would say, where are you going? I said, well, it's a loving, warm place. There's no condemnation. There's no hellfire and damnation. We create our heaven and our hell in our experience and our choices every day. And then somebody said, well, can you sort of give it to me in a 25 words or less thing? Those of us who've been around a long time know there were competitions where you had to say something in 25 words or less, and then maybe you could get the prize from the ivory soap or something. So I came up, for me, it is a simple spiritual philosophy for successful everyday living. Simple spiritual philosophy for successful everyday living. If I really just look at two basic concepts, which seem to appear in most of the major religions, the one, God by all of its names, and the unnamed, love God, that thing, love your neighbor, that includes our family, guys. Yeah. As ourself. So it says we get to love ourself and our neighbor, and those are outward expressions of the love of spirit, which is here, not on a throne floating around beyond those beautiful clouds that we see beyond the mountains, but a spirit that is within. And then there is a simple law of cause and effect. Now, those of you all know this stuff. I'm not telling you anything new. My intention this morning is to maybe put a different perspective on it, but you already know this. I understand, I know really well about how to play the piano, but I don't do it really well unless I practice. So for us, it's always the opportunity to practice what we know. So that other part is that cause and effect. I plant the seeds. Those are the seeds that grow. If I don't like broccoli, quit planting broccoli and plant what I like, instead of getting upset because broccoli keeps showing up. Well, Dr. Seuss said, the places you'll go. And I would love to show you all the beautiful pictures. I used to teach elementary school, and I know how to read upside down and show you the pictures. But this morning, I'm going to read it that I've printed out so that I can just really get it to you. Basically, the whole storyline and our whole spiritual philosophy is we have everything we need for our life journey. We have the love intelligence that's been given to us. Seuss said we have the brains in our head. We know we have the heart, the great heart, the presence of that spirit that is here. Richard and I spent a couple of days with people who are not people who attend church, and they're beautiful, lovely people, and they have a real connection with nature and hiking and mountains, and that's where they feel connected. And I said, yeah, that's it. He said, I can't relate to the word God. I said, I got it. I couldn't use the word God for a lot of years. But there's a place in here that connects. That's that divine presence. And we have choices. That's our freedom of our birthright. Choices. So let me read you this spiritual text this morning. Congratulations. Today is your day. You're off to great places. You're off and away. You have brains in your head. You have feet in your shoes. You can steer yourself any direction you choose. You're on your own, and you know what you know, and you are the guy who'll decide where to go. You look up and down streets, look them over with care. About some, you will say, I don't choose to go there. With your head full of brains and your shoes full of feet, you're too smart to go down any not so good street. And you may not find any you'll want to go down. In that case, of course, you'll head straight out of town. It's opener there in the wide open air. Out there, things can happen, and frequently do, to people as brainy and footsy as you. And when things start to happen, don't worry, don't stew, just go right along. You'll start happening too. Oh, the places you'll go. You'll be on your way up. You'll be seeing great sights. You'll join the high flyers who soar to high heights. You won't lag behind because you'll have the speed. You'll pass the whole gang and you'll soon take the lead. Wherever you fly, you're the best of the best. And wherever you go, you'll top all the rest. Except when you don't. Because sometimes you won't. I'm sorry to say it, but sadly it's true, that bang-ups and hang-ups can happen to you. You can get all hung up in a prickly perch, and your gang will fly on, and you'll be left in the lurch. You'll come down from the lurch with an unpleasant bump, and chances are then that you'll be in a slump. And when you're in a slump, you're not in for much fun. Unslumping yourself is not easily done. You'll come to a place where the streets are not marked. Some windows are lighted, but mostly they're darked. A place you could sprain both your elbow and chin. Do you dare to stay out? Do you dare to go in? How much can you lose? How much can you win? And if you go in, should you go left or right and 3/4, or maybe not quite, or go around back and sneak in from behind? Simple it's not, I'm afraid you will find, for a mind maker upper to make up his mind. You can get so confused that you'll start into race down long, wiggled roads at a break-necking pace and grind on for miles, cross weirdish wild space, headed, I fear, toward a most useless place. The waiting place. For people just waiting. Waiting for a train to go, or a bus to come, or a place to go, or the mail to come, or the snow to snow, or waiting around for a yes or a no, or waiting for their hair to grow. Everyone's just waiting. Nope, that's not for you. Somehow, you'll escape all that waiting and staying. You'll find bright places where boom bands are playing, with banners flip-flapping. Once more you'll ride high, ready for anything under the sky, ready because you're that kind of guy. Oh, the places you'll go. There is fun to be done. There are points to be scored. There are games to be won. Oh, the magical things you can do with that ball will make you the winningest winner of all. Fame. You'll be famous as famous can be, with the whole wide world watching you on TV. Except when they don't. Because sometimes they won't. I'm afraid sometimes you'll play lonely games too. Games you can't win because you play against you. All alone, whether you like it or not. Alone will be something. You'll be quite a lot. And when you're alone, there's a very good chance you'll meet things that scare you right out of your pants. There are some down the road between hither and yon that scare you so much you won't want to go on. But on you will go, though the weather be foul. On you will go, though your enemies prowl. On you will go through the hack and crack howl. Onward, up many a frightening creek. Though your arms may get sore and sneakers may leak. On and on you will hike. And I know you'll hike far and face up to your problems, whatever they are. You'll get mixed up, of course, as you already know. You'll get mixed up with many strange birds as you go, so be sure when you step with care and great tact. And remember that life's a great balancing act. Just never forget to be dexterous and deft, and never mix up your right foot with left. And will you succeed? Oh, yes, you will indeed. 98.75% guaranteed. Kid, you'll move mountains. So be your name Buxbaum or Bixby or Bray, or Mordecai Alley Van Allen O'Shea. You're off to great places. Today is your day. Your mountain is waiting, so get on your way. So that spiritual principle is spoken and taught by Dr. Seuss. Now, if we look at it a little bit, we can find the spiritual principles that weave their way through. And those of you that were smiling and nodding, you caught a lot of them. In spiritual principle, we say assume a mental attitude that's confident, that's partnered with our infinite intelligence. He says, you can do it, kid. Yes. And we say there's this guiding principle here that's always with us. It's the spirit within us. When we come to the fork in the road, take it. We had these friends that we were visiting, new friends that we hadn't met yet, and the directions were very specific, but there were a couple of places where there were forks in this little narrow dirt road, and there were all kinds of directions about information about the landmarks and so on, but it would have been really simple if she just said, take the right fork. And at the next one, take the right fork, and you'll see this. So when we're at those forks in our road and we're going down and we get to make those choices because we have limitless choices, limitless possibilities. That's our birthright. That's our freedom, right? we get to just relax. And that's what we got. Slowly on that dirt road. Oh, I don't think this is it because it goes up at a 45-degree angle. It has rocks in it and big holes. I don't think that's where we're supposed to go. Backing down the mountain road. Spiritual principle says, relax in, let Spirit support us. Affirm that all is resolved right here and right now. You'll start happening. Don't worry, don't stew. With that limitless potential, me and you have the power for good we can use at our disposal. Seuss talks about getting in a slump and unslumping yourself. We know we have spiritual tools. I was thinking about it this morning. Richard has lots of tools on the wall in the garage and in the cupboards. They're great tools. Marvelous tools. I know how to use the hammer and put a nail in the wall to hang a picture. I can use a screwdriver to take the back off something. But other than that, they're just marvelous tools sitting there not being used. So I invite us to take a look at the spiritual tools we have and take them off the shelf and use them. It said, if thank you is the only prayer you ever speak, it's enough. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Gratitude expressions. Simple affirmations. You hear them here all the time. Reverend Kathleen says, repeat after me. I often do that. Let's say the affirmation. We read the affirmations together. All those are tools to help us unslump ourselves. We have spiritual practitioners and 2 ministers in this center. We're happy to do prayer treatment with you, in person, on the phone, written. There are other people who are not licensed practitioners who do great prayer work. They're here for you. Those are the tools. Those we can use to unslump ourselves. Sue says you'll come to a street where their streets are not marked. These roads we were going up, sometimes there weren't signs right where you would expect them to be. Some windows are lighted and others are darked. When we're making our choices, and sometimes it's so many. I heard recently, some of us are vintage enough to remember that if someone had a baby carriage, it had 4 wheels, it was usually black, and it had a little hood over the thing to keep the sun off, and they were all pretty much the same, and you may have model A or B. Now there are hundreds, literally hundreds of baby carriages. Which one is best? Which one is safest? Well, most safe. If I'm going to run and push it, will it work? I need 2 wheels. I need 3 wheels. I need 4 wheels. It's overwhelming. Our young people, what do you want to be when you grow up? I don't know, because they have millions of choices. So it's helpful if we remember when we're faced with our choices and those streets that are dark and unmarked, that we speak our word for what we desire. Doesn't have to be the color, doesn't have to be the height, but speak our word for the good experience that we desire. That's speaking our word. In the Bible it says, pray without ceasing. I thought when I was a kid that meant that I had to go around with my eyes closed and my hands folded in front of me. And then, of course, I would trip and fall. But as I grew, I understood in different traditions, people pray without ceasing in different ways. Some of you know that in some of the Buddhist traditions, you face the wall. You look at nothing except the wall to do your prayers, and you close your eyes. In other traditions, you don't look there, and you keep your eyes open. That's the way you pray. That's the right way. Other people pray loudly. Other people pray quietly. is speaking our word. When we say, I'm sick and tired, we've spoken our word. And it comes back to us. When we want greater health and well-being, we get to speak our word. I am health. I am wholeness. I am wholeness and well-being expressing today, here and now. That's what speaking our word and praying without ceasing can mean. But don't believe everything I say. Ernest Holmes says to pray with faith, to speak with faith, assured that we're communicating with that inner presence that is there. And affirm, but nothing but the true answer, my true direction is coming to me. I don't know which fork of the road to take. The true answer is coming to me. I don't know which choice to make in this situation. The true answer is coming to me. It is here. It is moving toward me, and I'm open to recognize it. Ernest also said to stand guard. Stand guard. But he is talking about don't let the other yabbas, yada, 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 yada. You can't, never will happen. All the world says, you know, the research says, yada, yada, yada. Stand guard against that which no longer serves you, which no longer serves me. And only allow in to our essence the ideas, the thoughts, the feelings of what is good for our highest good desire. Right out of Dr. Seuss. A little bit about the waiting place. I don't know that I'm a real good waiter. And yet I know that waiting and being still sometimes is the way I can get that answer. Being one who talks a bit, just being quiet is sometimes a challenge, and yet it is in that quiet. The Wednesday women group went outdoors, and I said, just walk until I ring the bell. I did, and I said, now, just look where you're facing until I ring the bell. Which they did, and I rang the bell. We came back inside, talked about it. They had been 2 minutes, only 2 minutes, just waiting, looking, staying awake and aware. And in that 2 minutes, every single one of them said, I felt so at peace. 2 minutes. So the waiting place. Not waiting for something else to happen. Well, when this happens, well, then I'll be successful. When I get this paycheck, then I'll be able to. Well, when I am this age, then I'll be able to. But now that I'm this age, I won't be able to because I can do something else. Taking the time to meditate, and contemplate, and embrace that intuition, which is our inner source. Sue says somehow you'll escape all that waiting place, but you still may want to know have another tool. Some of you are aware of this one. It's called flip a coin. This couple we were visiting, the son came by for dinner Friday night, and he's 27. Going to college, working, going to college, working, going to college, working. What am I going to do? I said, so do you have a vision or a dream for what you ultimately might like to be doing? And he told me, but he was very clear that he didn't believe in any of this spirit God stuff. So I said, well, when you are making a choice, what do you do? He said, I make lists. The pros and the cons, and I said, great. And if one of those lists is longer than the other, you go with that one. But what if this other one over here is much more important than 2 over on the other side of the list? What do you do then? And he said, well, I make my list. I got that. And then what do you do if it feels like you're stuck? You're in that dark place. He said, well, I just know. I said, exactly. That just knowing is that place inside you that knows. Oh. So if you're faced with a choice, and you go, oh, I think I'll do this, but let me check it out. Flip a coin, says, and you just determine whether heads is yes or no, and so on and so forth. And once you flip the coin and look at it, notice how you feel. If it was yes and you had said yes, you go, yay! If you had said yes and it was no, and you go, oh, then you know, don't you, what your message from the internal is. So it's just another choice. But Seuss says, move your feet. Around here, you probably heard. Treat and move your feet. It's do our spiritual affirmative prayer and then take action. And what I've noticed for myself, I can share over and over again, I may have done my treatment work about this direction to the right, and my answer came from the left. My good showed up out of something I couldn't possibly have imagined. Couldn't possibly. But as I was doing my treatment work and I was moving my feet, which meant I was open to whatever good result came. And then he says, because sometimes they won't. Sometimes you'll be playing lonely games. So we have our cycles of life, don't we? Our beginnings, our in the middle of it, our completions, and then sometimes the quiet place before the new beginnings. And guess what? It doesn't happen just once. It happens over and over again, doesn't it? For me, it's sometimes every day. It isn't just a new place about a new career. It's a new place in understanding. He does talk about scare, fear. Might scare you right out of your pants, he says. And we know fear stops us, doesn't it? Holmes said it inhibits effective action. And it dams our flow of energy. Well, we may have some energy, but it's not going in the direction we want to move. And it steals our birthright of freedom. So Holmes suggested to declare, fear be gone. Just be gone. To face your fears, name them, and tame them, and I say rename them. Rename them to excitement. Am I fearful or am I excited about new possibilities? I work with somebody, and we were chatting. She's starting a new business, and she said, I love my products, and I love to talk to people about it, but when I get up, I have to talk to people, and I'm scared. I said, what if you just call that excitement? Are you excited about your product, your business? Oh, yes. I said, then just name it. Yes, I'm excited. I'm excited. I saw her last week. She said, I'm excited. And things are going really well. And every time I get on a conference call and I feel that, I say, I'm excited. I'm excited. So we can set ourselves free to be the most free, to be all we can be. All I am being. Kid, you will succeed. You can move mountains. With awareness that God within is all we need, we are succeeding. So one of the thoughts is that I inherit the world I build with my thoughts and my feelings and my choices and my actions, because it is done unto me as I believe. The end of Seuss' book says, you're off to great places. Today is your day. Your mountain is waiting, so get on your way. Spiritual principle would say it this way. I have brains in my head. I have feet in my shoes. My compassionate heart steers the direction I choose. Say that with me. I have brains in my head. I have feet in my shoes. My compassionate heart steers the direction I choose. And so it is. I celebrate my abundance today. By giving this gift, I show my faith. As I open my heart, my world becomes a better place. I release all fear as I share gratefully. This love that I give always gives back to me. Knowing my oneness with everything else, I know that all that I give to myself. It's that cycle. Let's do it again. I celebrate my abundance today. By giving this gift, I show my faith. As I open my heart, my world becomes a better place. I release all fear as I share gratefully. This love that I give always gives back to me. Knowing my oneness with everything else, I know that all that I give to myself. Thank you. And Roger has another beautiful song for us.